Hello! Welcome to our little introductory recording for our 4th grade science course. So for 4th grade science, you are required to do 2 science lessons a week, and we will send you a recording of either a lesson or tell you what lesson to do in the online school, or mostly it'll probably be a recording for you to watch, and that will count as one of your 2 lessons. So that recording and any assignments that we have to go with it are due before every live class. So the recordings will typically be sent out Monday night, Tuesday morning, and then you need to have them done before our live class, which is Thursdays at 1 p.m. So if you don't do your assignment before coming to live class on Thursday, you will have to miss Thursday's class and do it then. So we will be checking our list of who has done the recordings by probably Wednesday night. So then Thursday class, we may check it Thursday morning, but I would get it done by Wednesday night to be sure. And then Thursday we'll split our class. So those who have not done it will go to a breakout room to do it, and those who have will stay in the main room and do the lesson. So then if you are down in the breakout room though, it is expected that you will then watch the recording of the class that you missed and have to make it up and catch it up on your own time. So we really suggest that you do your assignments, watch the recordings when we send them, do it Tuesday. We've kind of scheduled out, do your recording portion Tuesday and then the live class Thursday. And if you do that, you won't get behind. We will tell you at the end of each lesson if you need to be the one to mark it off in the online school or if we as your teachers need to do it. Mrs. Waite and I will both be teaching science, and we will rotate between units. So I am starting out teaching Unit 4 with you, and then she will take over with the next unit. So we're not covering every unit in science. There's just too much, and a lot of it is not required on the science core. So the rest of your science units, besides these ones listed, should have been skipped for you, and you will get the chance to do them later on in the year if you want to pick the ones you like the most. But these are the ones that we will be covering. We will be doing Unit 4 with dealing with water and the water cycle, Unit 5 for weather and weathering, Unit 6 for rocks and minerals, Unit 9 for environments, Unit 12 for Utah wildlife, plants and animals, and then Unit 13 for fossils. So we will be covering just those units only. For science, there isn't a ton of materials that you will need, but for every science class you should have a notebook because we will ask you to write things down. And then you were sent a science kit. We'll tell you for each lesson which things you need for which lessons. We won't be using all of the stuff every time. Okay, let's jump right in, and this will count for Unit 4, Lesson 1. So today, with this little recording, we're going to talk about why water is important, where it's found on Earth, and how you can conserve it. So first off, we all know that water is critical for all living things. No matter if it is a plant, an animal, or a human being, we all need water to survive. So I want you to take a minute and think about, where do you find water? Some of the main places where we find water are these three categories. So water can be found in the oceans as fresh water or glacier ice caps. Okay. So now I want you to think about, well, how much of all the water on the earth is oceans? How much would be considered fresh water? And how much do you think would be frozen solid as an ice cap? Well, these are the percentages. So oceans is 97% of all the water on earth is an ocean salty water, right? Fresh water, then, we'll get to in a second. So that leaves only 3% between those last two categories, right? So glaciers is actually the next biggest. And glaciers, it covers 2%. And then fresh water, the water that we use to drink, is only the remaining 1%. So here's kind of a little visual for you. We have our little graph here, but if we were saying that this container, this measuring cup, represented all the water on the earth, so 100% of Earth's water, just imagine with me, is in this little container. So there are 32 ounces here. Now I did the math, I'm the math teacher. So I multiplied that by, well, what's 3%? And it ended up being close to 1 ounce. So we are going to take and pour out only 1 ounce of this. Okay, a little bit more. All right, so this right here, this little teeny container, represents the rest of my water. So this is, it's both my 2% ice cap and my 1% in this one little amount. So only a tiny amount when all the rest of this is considered our, so here is all the rest, my 97%, that is all salty water. Yuck. We don't want to drink that. Now let's talk about this my remaining 3% right here. So of this 3%, we can't even use all of that because 2% of this is solid ice. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have taken my 3% and I have actually poured out 2% of it and I put it in the freezer. Now I know it's really hard for you guys to tell, but this is frozen solid. Well, the top is. It didn't let it freeze long enough. But so that leaves only 1% remaining. That is fresh water. So 1% of all the water on Earth is fresh water, found in lakes, found in rivers, found underground, right? So some of this 1% isn't even on the surface. It's down in the ground. That has to be purified. So 1% is the magic number of all the water that we have to use. Now, we had our, remember, 2% is our glaciers, ice caps. It's frozen. We can't use it because it's solid, right? And then we had, we'll get this easier so you can see it just a second. Ugh. 97% is all dun 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 salty. We we don't want to drink this water until it's purified because it is salt water. So 97% of all the water on Earth is in the oceans. So we only have a limited amount of water that we can actually use, right? It's really even hard to tell. I tried to get my smallest containers, but it's really even hard to tell how much is really 1% of all the water I poured. So it's just 1%, not much at all. So we're going to talk a lot about, well, how do we have enough water to even survive? And what are we going to do about this? So Earth is actually sometimes called the water planet because 70% of the Earth is covered with water or ice, but less than 2% of Earth's water is actually drinkable water. So here are some amazing facts about water. Water is one of the most common substances found on the earth. Our bodies, the human body, is actually about 75% water. And the average person uses about 175 gallons of water a day. So we're actually going to talk about that a little bit and what we can do, because that's a lot of water, and we just showed we don't have much water to be using. So only a tiny amount of the water that is treated, so we take our salt water and we treat it, only a tiny amount of that is actually being used for drinking. Here's kind of how we use our water. So we use it for watering lawns, flushing toilets, showers and baths, doing laundry and dishes. Some of it's lost by leaks. Those leaky pipes are making a difference. And then way down at the very bottom is how much is drinking water. So, did you know that water is the only substance on Earth that is naturally found in all three forms? So it can be a solid in ice, it can be a liquid, just regular drinking water, or it can be found as a gas, which is steam. So it's the only naturally existing substance that's in all three forms. Now I want you to picture a gallon container. Here is a gallon container here. We're going to kind of be talking in terms of gallons. So have that in mind, your gallon container. So it takes 2 to 7 gallons to flush the toilet. That's a lot of water. A leaky faucet can waste up to 100 gallons a day. That could add up to 36,500 gallons of water a year. Now, funny story about that. My parents, at their house, they got a call from the city they live in, and the person told them, "We just kind of wanted to warn you that your water bill is going to be more money this time, and that you may have a leak." And so my parents got their bill and they looked at their water bill, and it was like $500 more than what they were typically paying, because they found that the water in their house was just continually flowing and running through the pipes. It wasn't getting shut off. So they quickly fixed that, because leaky faucets and stuff waste a lot of water. Now, here are some more facts about water. An elephant is 70% water. Pretty cool. A person can live about a month without food, but only about a week without water. Now, we have so much that you can do to be conserving water. And you might be thinking, well, I'm only a kid. But yes, kids can make a difference and conserve water. So right now I want you to think of, what can you do to conserve water. Okay, here's kind of our little exit ticket quiz. We want you to show what you've learned by labeling the diagram with the correct word and the percent. So this dark blue part right here, that is what amount? Like, is it freshwater, oceans, 2%, 1%, glaciers, or 97%? This skinny white part, again, label it freshwater, oceans, 2%, 1%, or glaciers, or 97%. This one is pointing to this teal color here. Label that as either freshwater, oceans, 2%, 1%, glaciers, or 97%. Okay, for today's lesson, for watching this flipped recording, you can actually have your learning coach mark the lesson complete for you. So your learning coach will log into their OLS account. They'll go to courses at the top, click on science, then unit 4. Make sure they're doing unit 4 because that's what this lesson was. Unit 4, find lesson 1, and then this isn't showing it got cut off, but on the side there will be a little circle there. It will be an open circle. Click that and you can make it so a green check appears. Thank you so much for watching this flipped recording, and we will see you in our live class on Thursday at 1 o'clock.